Hello friends, welcome to this week's online card class. If this is your first time watching, my name is Rachel Trout and I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 12 years. And every Thursday I bring you a card class. So you can watch the card class for free. I will give you all the measurements and show you how to make the cards. And you can use your own supplies at home and be inspired. Or if you would like a card kit sent to you, shop with me now through Tuesday, and if you spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after any Stampin Rewards that you have, I will send you a card kit for the 3 cards that we are making today. So there's a shopping link in the description of the video that you can use, and that will make sure you are connected and shopping with me. And I hope I inspire you today. We have a really cute, sweet collection of products. It's called the Turtley Cute Suite, and it is definitely cute. It is also part of our Sweet Collection sale. So this month through the end of June, all of our Sweet Collections and any products that are part of a Sweet Collection, so bundles, stamp sets, dies, embossing folders, designer series paper, ribbon, embellishments, anything that's part of a Sweet Collection is buy one, get one 50% off. I think this is the first video where I've been able to talk about that sale. So let me tell you just a few tips to help you maximize the sale. So your lowest price items are going to be the half off items. That's pretty typical when companies do sales like this. I know other stores that I've shopped at, that's how it works. But to maximize the sale, you may want to place 2 separate orders. For example, if you want more than one Sweet Collection, like the entire thing, our Sweet Collections range in price usually from like $70 to $90, and it includes all the products in that suite under one ordering number. So let's say you want 2 different Sweet Collections. You can add them both to your shopping cart, and the lower priced Sweet Collection will be half off. I just did this on our demonstrator pre-order for the July online exclusives, and I think one of my suites was $86. That was my lower priced one, and so I only paid $43 for the entire suite that included a stamp and die bundle, designer series paper, ribbon, and embellishments. So basically I got my bundle for free, which was awesome. So if you are interested in entire Sweet Collections, do that. Then if you have some lower priced items, place a second order and add all your designer series paper and your ribbons and your embellishments that you might want. And then you'll get some of those half off. But that way you can make sure that you really get the most for your money. So that would be my little tip for shopping that sale. And really you can save yourself a lot of money this month. I also wanted to plug the starter kit because while you can't use that sale as part of the starter kit, if you buy the starter kit, then you get to shop at a discount. So me and all my team members are shopping the sale this month and getting a discount on top of the sale price, which is so awesome. Plus, we are shopping a pre-order for the online exclusives that are coming next month. Some super cute and pretty stuff in there, let me tell you. And those things can be added to a starter kit right now, which is a lot of fun. The other thing we have going on is our virtual album retreat is coming up in the middle of July. And right now you can purchase the scrapbook kit that includes everything you'll need for that virtual retreat. And that's also like your registration for the event. So it's all virtual. You buy the kit. It's $250, but includes 2 huge stamp sets, and all the product is cut and ready for you to make 12 2-page scrapbook layouts. It's going to be a really fun event. I think it's the first time Stampin' Up! Has done something like this, but if you are familiar with Close to My Heart, I believe they ran events like this in the past, and they were super popular, and some of the people from Close to My Heart have come over to Stampin' Up!, and so I'm sure their input was definitely important in planning Stampin' Up's first album retreat. So I'm excited to try it out. If you missed it last week, I did do a video about what you get in your kit and did a little unboxing because I got mine. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel. or scrolling back on my Facebook page, wherever you're watching this video from. All right, the last thing before we flip the camera down is I like to send the cards that I make every week. So I choose 3 random people from the comments to send the cards that I make to. So make sure that if you are watching to say hi and let me know what you think of the cards. Let me know what's going on in your summer. My summer has been super busy so far. So the last few months especially have been really tough for me balancing family and business life. Business life, unfortunately, has taken a back seat a lot of the time. So I'm still playing catch up from that. And thank you so much to my loyal followers and customers for sticking with me. And hopefully I'm going to get a little more on top of things soon. I'm working hard at it. So, all right, let's flip the camera down and take a look at our turtle products. So I'm going to show you all of the products first, and then we'll get to making our cards. So this is a suite collection. So any of the products I show you can be a part of our buy one get one half off sale, including all of these products together as one suite. So if you have another suite that you like, you can get both of them and get one half off. So this suite includes a stamp and die bundle. This one is a lot of fun. It's the Turtly Awesome bundle. The images here are shown at 80%. So let me show you. They are a little bit bigger than they are shown on the front. We've got 3 different turtles. We've got 4 sentiments. Lots of fun little images for lots of different occasions. And the dies are really fun too. I haven't even fully played with these yet. But we've got the balloon here. I've also seen this used as a banjo. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, because here's the top of the banjo. You've got a watering can, a chef's hat, a little straw hat, a chef's apron. There are so many cute things. And just wait till we get to our first card, and I'm going to show you a really cool thing about these turtle dies too. So hang tight, but they're awesome, just like the name says. All right, let's take a look at the paper next. It is a 12 by 12 paper. Lots of different greens in there. So if you like greens, you are going to like this paper. Lots of opportunities for fussy cutting also, because many of these turtles cannot be cut out with the dies because they're holding extra things, but they are fun to fussy cut and add to your cards. So we've got more turtle shells here. This one is fun, holding the ice cream. Now this one, for example, can be cut out with the dies because he doesn't have anything extra, and there is a turtle shaped like that in the stamp set. So that's fun. The ice cream cones also can be cut out with the dies. I think the birds. So there are some things you can use the dies for. I love this pattern. Perfect for birthdays. We used this with the Party Piggy bundle not that long ago. And then the other side is these ready-made card fronts that you can add your turtles to. So I think that's super fun too. I need to cut it apart and use them. But it's hard because I love the other side too. So might be time to buy a second pack of this paper on the sale, right? Here's stripes, again in those fun colors, perfect for birthdays. Here your turtle is at the beach. I love these. I think they are so cute, especially this one in the inner tube with the snorkel. That's so fun. Green stripes here. Okay, now we've got our outdoorsy turtle. Also cute with the watering can, the honey. So you can put this one on that little piece with the honeycombs over here. This one right here. That would go nicely together. This is a birthday one. So our last card today, I die cut out of this sheet. These, I think this one for sure will die cut. You just won't get the balloon. The ice cream cones again, the birthday hats, the birthday cakes can all be cut with the dies. So that is pretty awesome. And then we've got music notes on the back. So very, very fun paper. Also in this suite is a ribbon. This is called Bordered Ribbon. It is shaded spruce and soft seafoam. So it is 2 different colors. Normally I'm not a fan of our ribbon like this, but I don't mind this one too much. I like both of the colors, and I think it ties okay. And then these are our fun embellishment. They are hexagons. They are called Shades of Green Hexagons. So those are really fun too. And then the last thing in this sweet collection is this embossing folder, and the name is escaping me right now, but it is those turtle shells. If you have that turtle stamp set from a few years ago with the turtle punch, some of these products might be the perfect addition to your craft room, because you can also use them with that bundle. So that would be a lot of fun. All right, let's get to our first card today. A sweet friend I thought needed some sweet ice cream. So if you order and shop with me this week and you get the card kit, this is exactly what you're going to get. You'll get envelopes sorted for your different cards, and these are the pieces that you will get in here. So you want to provide your own stamps and ink, so you can either add the turtle bundle to your order, or you can use something else that you already have, maybe another animal, maybe that turtle, bundle from the past, and you can decide. You also need your own ribbon and embellishments, or you can add these to your order. So you can substitute any ribbon that you want. Maybe you have another green ribbon you like. Maybe you have like a white ribbon, a sparkly ribbon, a gold ribbon, whatever you want. And then our hexagons, but really any embellishment that you want to use will work. Okay, for our first card, we have a soft seafoam card base that is 5.5 by 8.5. Fold that in half. Then I have a piece of shaded spruce that I have embossed with that embossing folder from this suite. I'm going to have to look up the name, and don't worry, I will put it in the description. I will give you a list of suggested products to order in the description, so if you are curious about the prices or the item numbers of any of these things, just check that description of the video and you'll find it there. So we are going to adhere that with our Stampin' Seal Plus. And then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper that is 2x4. And we are just going to add that to the bottom of our card here. I think I'm going to put it a little bit lower than I did on my first card, because I want it just a little bit more to show at the bottom there. Then I have a soft seafoam arch that I've cut with our Everyday Arches dies, and I believe these are back in stock. The last time I used them, they were out, but I believe they are back in. And we're going to stamp that sweet friend sentiment with our shaded spruce ink pad. So we'll get that out, and I'm just going to stamp that up here in this corner. All right, we'll close that up, and I'm going to add this to my card with some dimensionals. And then we're going to get to our turtle, and I will show you just how cool he is. So you kind of want to center this on your card. All right, I have two pieces of white here. We're going to stamp the turtle on this one and the ice cream on here. And I'm using my Memento Black ink because I'm going to color with my Stampin' Blends. And that is the ink pad you want to use when you are coloring with your blends. So there is our turtle. And here is our ice cream cone. Okay, let's close that up. And let me grab my markers here. So I chose to use shaded spruce for my turtle, but you can use whatever green you would like. There's Granny Apple Green in here, Garden Green, which we don't have blends for. But you could use maybe Old Olive. There's all sorts of greens in there. So just pick whatever green you would like for your turtle. And I just did a few parts of him at a time so that I could blend a little bit better. So I'm starting with my dark shaded spruce on his head, and I'm just going to come and fill in with the light. Now some colors of Stampin' Blends, I feel like, or maybe it's just certain markers, tend to bleed out of the edges a little bit more. And I discovered my shaded spruce ones were kind of like that. So I'm purposely not going quite to the edge everywhere. I'm just being very careful because when it dries, it started to bleed out a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. I want it to look like I know how to color in the lines, right? All right, then we'll come in and do his arms. And I just did a little bit of dark up close to his shell and then on his elbow there. And same here, close to the shell, I did the dark. And then we're going to come in with the light. I can tell this one wants to come apart. Have you ever had that happen with your markers where it pops all the way out? This one is really sticking. And I feel like it's gonna pop out one of these days, so hopefully it doesn't. All right, I always start along that dark line and kind of blend the color because the ink is still a little bit wet. And so that's why I'm doing just a few parts at a time so that the ink is still wet enough to kind of blend together the light and the dark. And remember with our Stampin' blends that every time you color over it, it adds another layer of color. So I kind of go from the dark to the light section, and that helps to add a little bit of shading. And sometimes it looks just a little bit different when it dries too, so you can see if you like it or if you want to add more. But I always make sure and go over that part where the light and the dark kind of meet to blend it together so you don't get a line of dark and light. All right, same thing on his legs. I'm going to color a little bit of dark just right by where it meets the shell. And then we'll do those swirls on his knees. And my marker's sticking again, there we go. So when I first decided to color my turtle, I did look at the designer series paper to see where they had dark versus light, and to get some ideas of how to color the turtle. So, you know, the designer series paper is a good place to look for inspiration because an artist did that paper and they know more about the color of turtles than I do, right? I mean, you could look it up, you could Google what a turtle looks like, but I'm sure they did their research and their paper looks good, so I'm going to follow what they did. Okay, actually I'm going to keep my light out. I should have left it open because it's really sticking. Here we go. I'm going to color the spots on his shell with the light, and then we'll color around it with the dark. And on his shell, I'm not going to do any shading. I'm just simply using the light on the spots and the dark around it. And I think I'm going to leave this marker open so I don't have to fight with it again when we get to our next card. Don't think it'll dry out that fast. Alright, we'll finish his shell. Now for his belly, we are going to use Darling Duckling. I believe there was a turtle in the designer series paper that had a yellow belly, so that is why I went with that, and I liked the contrast also. And Darling Duckling is one of the yellows in the paper, and I thought it would be fun to use my new Darling Duckling markers. So you could also use Daffodil Delight if you wanted, or if you want it a little lighter, you could use Lemon Lolly also. So I'm using my dark Darling Duckling on these lines here. And then we will fill in with the light. And I feel like this lightens up a little bit when it dries, but I don't know. It seemed dark at first. I think Crushed Curry was maybe the other yellow that was in the paper. I don't remember. Listed quite a few colors, but we do not have Crushed Curry Stampin' blends either. And I thought I would like to use my new Darling Duckling ones. And then you can go over those lines again if you want, because remember that adds another layer of color and just makes it a little bit darker. So there is our turtle. And now for our ice cream cone, I have my crumb cake here. So I am just going to go across these lines with my dark crumb cake. And you can use any brown here that you want. And then I'm going over the rest of it with my light. And then I'm using Flirty Flamingo for this first scoop of ice cream. And I'm using the dark to just make a little shadow right here. And then we'll fill in the bottom with the light Flirty Flamingo. And that top scoop of ice cream we're going to leave white. It can be vanilla. All right, now we need to die cut our turtle and our ice cream. So let me bring in my die cutting machine here. This is the mini machine, and all of the dies in this bundle should fit in the mini machine because they are all pretty narrow or small. All right, I'm going to do the turtle first and then the ice cream. I do find on the mini machine, unless you are using your washi tape and stuff, they move around a little bit and I don't want that to happen. So we'll put the turtle through first and then we will put the ice cream through. Get these die cut. Love when we have the dies so you don't have to fussy cut, but I don't mind fussy cutting. And all of these little pieces are really fun. But I'm about to show you what is even more fun about them. So, all right, let's move that out of the way. I am going to put my dies away. Okay, check this out. When you die cut the turtle, his arm gets cut too, so then you can stick things in it, which is super fun. So that is where I'm going to stick my ice cream, and I'm just going to use a glue dot to kind of hold it in place there. Okay, like that. And then we're going to add him to the card with some dimensionals. Isn't that so fun? Think of all the different things from the set or from the designer series paper you can put in there. Okay, now we just have to finish off with some of our ribbon and our hexagons. I'm going to tie this with the shaded spruce side out, but you could do the soft seafoam side out if you want. And of course you are going to see a little bit of both sides, but I'm going to make my main color the shaded spruce. And I don't know if it bothers you that one end of my ribbon is soft seafoam and one is shaded spruce. That is usually what I do not like about those two-tone ribbons, but I don't know. This one, it doesn't bother me as much. I think it's just a pretty ribbon. So if you want, you can kind of finagle it and put some extra adhesive to turn that part around. I have done that before with two-tone ribbons, but that is totally up to you. All right, and then we will grab a few of our shaded spruce hexagons here and add those to embellish our card. Last one here. Let's see, right there. All right, so there is our first card. I'm going to tuck that away in an envelope to send to one of you who comments. So make sure you let me know what you think of this one. All right, time to move on to our second card. Now, I thought that our meant to be dies, which have these hexagons in them, were perfect to go with this turtle bundle because we have the hexagon embellishment. So I thought that was really fun. And so I used the smallest hexagon die in the meant to be dies. So for this one, we have a Granny Apple Green card base, 5.5 by 8.5, fold in half, and then a piece of the designer series paper that is 5.25 by 4. So let's put that on our card base, just nice and flat. And then I've cut one hexagon out of Granny Apple Green and one out of Shaded Spruce. And then I embossed them with that embossing folder that is part of this suite. So I'm going to put one up here at the top. And with this embossing folder, I don't think it really matters too much which is the front and which is the back. They look fairly similar on both sides as far as the embossing goes. So I don't think it matters too much. Okay, next we are going to do some stamping. So again, I'm going to stamp my sentiment in our Shaded Spruce ink. And I think this turtle is perfect for this sentiment. It's okay to take it slow. He's just kind of relaxed there. Oops, I almost grabbed the turtle. Let's do the sentiment first. This little banner is cut out of our Stylish Shapes dies. Love those and use them on lots of things. And then our turtle, we're going to stamp on the hexagon in our Memento Black ink again. And he will fit right on there. You just got to position him the right way. All right, so let's close our ink up. Now this turtle I am going to color exactly the same way that I colored the first one. You could try out different colors, like Granny Apple Green would look good on this one too, because that's the color of our card base, and you see some of that in the Designer Series paper. But really, any green you want to use will work, because there's so many greens in this paper. I think any of them will look nice. I just thought I'd keep it simple and use the same greens, so if you are wanting to replicate, you don't have to buy 5 different sets of markers to do that. I mean, I used 4 sets of markers, I guess, but you know what I mean. I didn't want you to have to buy a bunch of different greens if you want to replicate my cards exactly. You can just get the Shaded Spruce and color all of your turtles the same. So I again started with the dark close to his shell, and then we're filling in with the light and kind of blending back over where they meet. I'm going to go ahead and do his spots on his shell with the light again. And then we'll switch to dark and do his arms. Really, though, on turtles, I guess they're all legs, right? We're just making fun cards with them so they look like arms and legs, but I think really they're probably all legs. So at our zoo here in Phoenix, we have the huge tortoises. But we also have little turtles. Like, there's a nature preserve kind of close to our house, and they have smaller turtles there. Turtles, I think, are kind of cute. And have you ever seen the baby turtles? Some of those smaller turtles at the nature preserve sometimes have babies, and they sit on the backs, and they're so tiny and cute. All right, and then we will finish with his head here, and then I'll come back in and do the shell. While I'm coloring here, let me know if you have any fun plans for this weekend. I think we actually have a free weekend, which is the first one in quite a while, so probably just hang around. I shouldn't say that it's completely free. So our church is having Vacation Bible School next week, and my husband is running it, and I'm helping out, and it's going to be a busy week, so we may have a few things to do to get ready for that. But besides that, I don't think we have anything else planned for the weekend, which is kind of nice. We've been on the go since my kids got out of school. We were on vacation the whole first week after school got out, which was fun, but very busy. And then we got back, and my oldest daughter had volleyball camp that week. And the camp she went to was 45 minutes away from our house. So It was a 2.5-hour camp every afternoon, but if I would have driven back and forth, I would have just been driving all afternoon, so I stayed there every afternoon. Well, I did 2 of the afternoons, and then my husband picked her up after work 2 of the afternoons, which was nice. But, so that was a busy week. This week, we've had dentist appointments for everybody. You know, all the things you got to do when you're not in school. And today, actually, is my daughter's birthday. Well, the day you're watching this is my daughter's birthday. And so we've had things going on this week too, even though not quite as busy as the first 2 weeks of summer break. Around here, a lot of schools are modified year-round, but I think they're pretty much year-round, and they go back to school already the middle of July. The school my kids go to doesn't go back till the middle of August, which is nice, but it still feels short. All right, there is our turtle. Now we can finish our assembly here. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals again on the back of the hexagon. And we'll just kind of put this one in the center here. And then for this, it's going to overlap that hexagon a little bit. So I'm going to put dimensionals on this side and just a little bit of Stampin' Seal on that side. And you can do that anytime you're kind of overlapping a piece that has dimensionals on it. That way they're all the same level. If I would put dimensionals here, that side has 2 layers and this side only has 1. So that's why I did it that way. All right, I thought a ribbon was maybe a little big for this. So for this one, I'm just going to tie a knot with my ribbon. And you can trim it to be as short or as long as you want. And you are definitely going to see both colors this way, but I think it's kind of cute. All right, we are going to add that with a glue dot. And then we need a few hexagons, and I'm going to use the Granny Apple green ones this time. But you know, any of these greens really look good. I chose Granny Apple green because that was my card base color, and so I'm kind of sticking with that. And I added 3, I think. But go crazy, add more if you want to. All right, so there is our second card. Super cute, right? It is easy to make a cute card with these turtles. Okay, I'm going to move that one to the side, and let's take a look at our last card here. All right, I had to do something with the birthday sentiment. Hope your birthday is turtly awesome, because I think that is really fun. Let's see if I got all my pieces here. So for this one, I used the Designer Series paper mostly. So I have a Pool Party card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and we will fold that in half. And then I have cut a basic white rectangle with my perennial postage dies. And I have a piece of the Designer Series paper that fits inside there. It's 3 by 4.25. And of course the other side of this pattern is all those pieces that you can use for your card fronts. So I don't know. I really want to use those too. So like I said, I think I'm gonna have to get another pack so that I have enough of this paper, because I really like that pattern too. All right, let's see what I did with my dimensionals. I hid them under something, I think. They are under my card back here. We're going to add this piece with dimensionals, and you can decide how many layers you want to add with dimensionals on this card. I thought about popping the turtle up too, and I didn't because I didn't want it to get too bulky, but especially if you are giving this card to someone in person, just go crazy on the dimensionals. At least that's what I would do. Okay, then I have a basic white circle, and this one I cut with our Spotlight on Nature dies. And I don't know, I was going crazy with the different die sets on these cards, I think. I felt like I was die cutting a lot, but I don't know. It was fun. All right, so we're going to put that just a little bit off the edge here. And then these I've cut right out of the paper with the dies. So, excuse me, there's the die. This is the same die for the turtle we used on the first card. And then there's a little die for the birthday hat. And if you get the card kit, you may get different colors of these things. So I wanted to show you. This is different than my sample card, but still just as cute. And then the cake, and we're going to just tuck that under his arm a little bit, like that. Now, I did put him down flat just because I didn't want to make my card too thick, but if you want to pop him up, you can too. All right, and then I have a piece of petal pink. This one is 3 1/4 by 5/8 of an inch. And we are going to do our sentiment in our black ink this time. You could use the shaded spruce again if you wanted to, but I thought I would go with black. Hope your birthday is turtly awesome. I think that is such a fun sentiment. And I'm just going to cut my ends to angles. You can leave them straight if you prefer that. And then I did want to pop up my sentiment with dimensionals. So that's part of the reason why I left the turtle flat, because then we'd have like 4 layers of dimensionals, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it might get a little thick. Okay, for this one I tied a bow again. This time I kind of left the soft seafoam side out, but again, you can do the shaded spruce side if you want. And we'll cut our tails. That one maybe is a little long, so we'll make him a little shorter. Okay, that got a little messy. All right, let's add this with a mini glue dot. And this ribbon is slightly thicker. You may want to add 2 glue dots just to make sure it stays where it's supposed to. And I just added that right here on this corner of the circle. And then I almost think that these are Pool Party. I'm not positive, but they look like they match pretty well. So that is what I went with for this card because it looked like Pool Party to me. I don't know what other green it would be. I consider Pool Party more of a blue, but we'll put that one there. All right, so that last one was quick and simple thanks to the Designer Series paper. But what do you think of that one? I love the birthday stuff the most in this set, I think. All right, let me bring all 3 cards back in so you can see them all one more time. Remember, if you would like the card kit, you can shop with me now through Tuesday, and you'll get the card kit sent to you when you spend more than $50 before tax and shipping and after any Stampin' Rewards. And don't forget that this sweet collection of products is part of our sweet sale this month, so you can save yourself a little bit of money. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next week. Bye.